You're going to have to do this one about 15 times to get it right, but I don't know. I was just sitting here thinking, yeah, I know you smelled something burning, and well, yeah, maybe. See, it wouldn't be a big fire. No, no. But, there's an awful lot of work being done, but at the same time, there's an awful lot of work not being done. In other words, there's people like I go to work at a supermarket. Now, I'm a part-timer and have been one, gosh, for as long as I've worked at the supermarket. I'm at the will of what the powers that be, not blaming any one person, but what the powers that be determine I should have in a typical my work week. It could be anywhere from maybe the usual 40 hours, might even be perhaps some overtime hours thrown in for good measure, or it could also be where I'm getting 25 hours a week, and maybe that for a month or so, maybe more, and with no necessarily good chance at getting more than that for that given week. In other words, the 25 hours gets done, might be Monday through Friday, 5 hours a day. That's it. And that's good if you have supplementary money coming in. Like in my case, I have Social Security coming in, or I might, you could have a pension or a stock that really went nuts, 15 years ago, and you got all sorts of money there. So yeah, you can work a 4-hour work day for 5 days, and big deal. Gets you out of the house, and which is sometimes nice too. And, from work at the end of the day, it's just a half hour to the nearest casino, maybe, or the pub, shall we say. So yeah, I can see where, if you're set up for it, a shorter hours, or less hours rather. I guess you can't make an hour any shorter. Hey, these hours are short here. They all came out of the oven. 24.5 seconds. That's not good enough. No, yeah. But the thing is, you could, if you've got money coming in from a nice pension, Social Security, whatever, like Sandy and I do, we can pretty much take a milder work week, and it's not so bad. Get a full work week, and well, we got extra money in the bank, which we tend to use usually to knock down a bill that's been after us, and it helps for when the slower times come. And you see a lot of this in business. I don't know. At the same time, I guess that's just how it may have to be. I know long ago, when I worked in a plastics factory, you got, if you had a rotating shift. For a week, you would work like 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, let's say, or 4:30. And if you were, if you had, or you might have the evening shift, where you worked maybe 4:30 till 12:30, or 12 with an hour, half hour for lunch. Or then you might get another week, you might be doing the midnight shift, which would be something like 11:30 till something like 7 in the morning, and that you got paid like double time. And there were guys that wanted to just work the night shift, but no, they kept getting rotated. But that, in a way, you had it, that did have its benefits, and it had its. But if you were if you were hurting if you needed money on the payday that came from the weaker week, well, you might be in a jam too. You kind of had to learn to balance your money. Not everyone can do that. I know I have an awful lot of time doing it, and most people I know do. I don't know, it's interesting. Now, if you work for yourself, I guess the sky's the limit, or the ditch is the final resting place. If you're working for yourself, you got to go make some money, and you better have a bit of a pile just sitting in reserve for when you just can't get a sale to save your life. So, yeah, I guess there's all different ways at looking at getting paid. Get right down to it. I always liked the commission thing with a little bit of money just as a cushion, just to help out in case the commissions weren't that good that particular week. That was kind of my favorite, because now and then, you hit like a big sale, and you got something like $1,200 coming just for that sale. That's your commission. Oh man, you're just pacing back and forth, looking at that calendar and drooling. And when the big day comes, whoa. The only thing is, if you've had a slow week leading up to that, most of that big money you made just went to save your throat. So I don't know. I guess it all depends. Money is money. Someone once told me, and he seemed to be pretty smart with money. He says, when you get money, you just got what, $150? Good. Take 5 of it. Okay, maybe 7.5 of it, and just in a jar, and then turn your back on it. Don't open it up at all. In fact, maybe even if you can get a time lock it up, and you just have a little hole in the top where you can stick each week's piece of pay into that box. And he says you'd be surprised how when you can finally open that box again, how much is in there. And you get a big box. You make a thing of opening it every year. And with that, he said, then what you do is you go and you pay down a big debt. Chances are you got a lot there to maybe kill what you're paying for that car you had to buy. You see? Hard to know what to do, I guess. It's money. Money's about as hard to understand as, I guess, women are for men and men are for women. Right? And kids are for homework. It's a puzzle. It's a definite puzzle. Well, what are you going to do? As long as we got some coming in, I guess, well, what the heck. You don't have to buy a 2-gallon container of ice cream. Just get yourself a pint. I guess some days. And other days, hey, you can go out and really splurge. Maybe hit the casino, visit the racetrack. Yeah, laugh about it all the way home. It's money. It comes and it goes, like a dream. Yeah. In a way. I'll see you later. God bless. Bye now.